Everybody's probably heard once, at least in their lifetime, you have to learn to love yourself before you can love other people. And if you're like me, I heard that from several different people 100 times in my life. And I kept hearing that from people because they were seeing me being self destructive in my relationships. They were seeing me be codependent and pick men who weren't good for me or didn't treat me, the way that they saw that I deserved to be treated. And part of me knew that, I would think to myself, yeah, they're right. I'm not being treated the way I deserve to be treated. And I knew I needed to love myself, but I really didn't know how. I didn't know really like what that meant. And that's really been my life's work, is really figuring out what it means to love yourself so you can love other people and really teach people exactly how to do that. And there are ways that I teach people how to do that, but what it really boils down to are there are two paths to self-love. And if you follow either one of these paths, you're guaranteed to really end up at the same place, which is, loving yourself. And the first path is self-discipline. And that is the path that there are things about you that you don't like, that you don't necessarily want to accept, and you feel like you need to change. And so that requires some acts of self-discipline. And some of us need some self discipline. There are some things that we complain about on a consistent daily basis that we know are pulling us from really loving ourselves the way we want to. Maybe we're stuck in a place that we don't love, in a job we don't love, or in a relationship that brings us down, or in a body that we feel prisoner to, or to a behavior that we feel a slave to. And that requires some self discipline in order to change those things. And the other path, if it's not a path of self-discipline, is the path of self-acceptance. And on that path, we learn to really take a look at the things in our lives that we can't change, that we just need to kind of wrap our head around with and not be okay with, in the sense, well, that's just the way it is and I will, but really learn to really genuinely appreciate and accept the things about us that make us unique. So what path do you need to take? Is it the path of self-discipline or the path of self-acceptance? One of these two paths is going to lead you there. There are many, many roads to Rome. Your job is to figure out which path you need to go to. A lot of the time we get an idea in our head that we want to do something, like I want to learn, something, and I want to change the way that I am. And so we seek out a lot of different teachers. And somebody told me this one time, I thought it was really brilliant. I was talking about, what path I should take to really like deepen my yoga practice. And a great yoga teacher who I really respect said to me, the problem, Heidi, is that a lot of people just go from yoga teacher to yoga teacher to yoga teacher. They go from like water fountain to water fountain to water fountain. They drink a little bit and get nourished and drink a little bit. She said, but you need to dig a well and go deep. And that's kind of the work that I do with clients, is I help them dig a well and go deep to really get to the bottom of it. I'm not about, putting band-aids on flesh wounds. I really want to help people figure out what the root is. And for some people, again, it's the path of self-discipline or it's a path of self-acceptance. Where do you think you fit in? Where is it that you probably need to start? And as Lao Tzu says, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.